In a previous video, I stated I was going to rank every troop, hero, spell, machine, and pet in the game. And now I have to count guardians too. And with that, it's time to rank every spell. I'm not a pro COC player, I just got to Town Hall 18, so the invisibility and recall spell might be lower than you would think. Additionally, all spells aren't really that bad, and this is just my opinion. Anyway, time to rank. At number 17 is the Graveyard. The Graveyard is kind of okay when you unlock it. There's not much reason to use it, but there isn't much splash damage defenses when unlocked. However, when you unlock the Scatter Shot, which unlike Border can hit anything accurately with higher area damage per hit, it becomes useless. Except maybe for distraction. I like the Bat spell more, although not by much. At number 16 is the Recall spell. Recall can be good if you made a mistake during a strategy or confused defenses, but in my opinion, there is no real reason to use this over other 2-space spells, like Rage or Healing. It's too specific to work as a 2-space spell. The only way this could work is if it was 1 spell space, as it's never really helpful except on specific battles. At number 15 is the Jump spell. The Jump spell is mainly okay when unlocked, but grows underwhelming due to Wall Breakers, Root Riders, the Mighty Yak, Earthquake, Barbarian King's Earthquake ability, which are all more popular and can destroy walls, not just make troops ignore them. Can be good as an Earthquake substitute, as they usually require 4 to 5 spell space to get value out of, but Earthquake is more effective and has slightly more range. It's kind of okay overall, has a great duration though. At number 14 is the Haste spell. The Haste spell is really basic. It's only good if you're using slow troops but don't want extra damage per second. If the max spell space was increased to around 20 instead of 11, I could imagine it being helpful as they're not as crucial to your strategy. Just use Rage. It has a higher range and better effect for only 2 space instead of 1. At number 13 is the Bat spell. While the Graveyard grows useless quickly, the Bat spell spawns air troops that are also faster. Air troops are good at high Town Hall levels due to walls and ground defenses getting deadlier. It's mainly good in spam like the Night Witch ability, best for air armies like Lavaloon and Mass Dragons. Not always reliable, but not terrible. Similar to Graveyard, it's terrible against splash damage, but can be better in some situations. And at number 12 is the Poison. The Poison is underwhelming, it's just slow and unnecessary. It's like the Headhunter, where it's better to use others like Heal or Lightning, because it's just not worth using most of the time. It's still good against some reinforcements and heroes, but usually it's better to use another small spell instead. Kind of good if, like, you're barely able to get 100%, but then reinforcements are coming. But, like, that's about it. Anyway, at number 11 is the Earthquake spell. The Earthquake spell is generally decent. There's a lot of wall destroyers, but unlike the Jump spell, it deals damage to other defenses and destroys walls. Sure, you need 4 to 5 depending on the level, but you usually only need to use it once. Its damage is low, but to walls, its percent damage is really good. And starting off the top 10 spells in the game, at number 10 is the Ice Block spell. It's kind of like a freeze, but in reverse, so it lasts longer and is more defensive. It can be helpful for keeping troops alive, but needs the right placement as it's best for high HP troops or troops you need alive for longer. Good as an emergency spell in case of an Inferno Tower or Monolith on your best unit in the push. 92% damage reduction is crazy. I just don't think it's helpful all the time, but when it is helpful, it is pretty effective. At number 9 is the Invisibility spell. This spell is best used skillfully and thoughtfully, which most players won't. It's generally decent, but for specific placements, it has to be thought out. Upon first finding out about it, I thought it was going to be garbage. Like, it makes your troops invisible, but not defenses around it, so it can't, like, snipe them while they can't see it. But technically, it still blinds the defenses, which can be helpful with troops in the invisible range being invisible, and also oncoming enemies or high-range defenses can hit it as well. Pretty helpful, but requires good placement and timing. Kinda like Freeze, but a little less spammable. At number 8 is the Lightning spell. The Lightning is really good when unlocked, doing so much damage than most troops at Town Hall 5, but the Lightning only does damage to defenses and walls. It originally could hit anything, meaning you could help destroy town halls or steal resources easily. They added shields instead of lowering its damage, meaning it's only good for stunning Inferno towers or destroying random buildings. Insane at low levels, but not that good at high levels. You need like 5 of them to maybe destroy one thing. Inferno towers suck at least. At number 7 is the Revive spell. I only use this spell for reinforcements, and it's, cool. Like lightning, it can be generally helpful if used well, but sometimes won't get any value, as your heroes will still die really easily due to lower health. Not terrible, but most of the time only somewhat useful. When I first found out about it, I thought it was going to be pretty cool, and it kind of is. I think it's a little worse than I thought, though. Like, just use Phoenix. Next up at number 5 is the Clone spell, or essentially a more expensive Rage. It isn't too bad. I don't love it, but it's a lot better than the CR version. Its hefty 3 spell space, or its cost, makes it bad in most strategies, along with it not always being effective, due to its low housing space clonable amount. It is good for damage, and for some reason it's really good in my Mass Dragon strategy, but even if it's best to only use it once in a strategy, it's not bad for what it does. At number 5 is the Overgrowth spell. The Overgrowth spell is more balanced than I thought initially. It still is essentially a freeze and invisibility spell combined with a longer range and duration, but the invisibility spell is only for defenses, which is the skillful aspect of the invisibility spell. It's still insanely good. I'd almost put it above number 3 other than range and synergy. I really like freeze spell and totem spell because those are kind of similar, so Overgrowth is obviously kind of high because of that. At number 4 is the Heal spell. Like Lightning, it's really good when unlocked, but isn't amazing later on. However, unlike Lightning, Heal is more usable for its range of healing, even if it's not much. Plus, it can synergize well with the Life Gem, Life Tome, or any healers. It can be used well with hero walks, or just troops that are almost about to die, but you kind of need them for a little bit. Similar to Poison, where it takes a bit to be effective, but it's more effective overall in my opinion, and its range makes it a lot better against most troops. Number 3 is the Totem spell. Essentially a troop version of the Freeze, which is kinda good, but unlike Freeze, its duration of distraction depends on the defense's damage per second. So against a Monolith, Ricochet Cannon, or Multi-Gear Tower, which will lead it to being alive for around 3 seconds. It has too many abilities for one spell space. It can stun, damage, and help against air defenses or sweepers, along with more HP than a max level golem for only one spell space. Not broken, but strong in the right scenarios. A good freeze substitute. Next up at number 2 is the Freeze spell. The Freeze spell is really helpful against the Town Hall, Eagle Artillery, and Monolith due to their high damage per second. Before that point, it's fine, but not really worth using. But at Town Hall 18, where the Inferno Tower or Monolith can destroy your heroes, and the Guardian / Cannon / Multi-Gear Defense can destroy an area of troops, Freeze is really good, even if its duration is a bit too fast at low levels. Better than the Totem spell for always being helpful against defenses, not just usually. Number 1, being my favorite spell in the game, is the Rage spell. Similar to Freeze, but better when unlocked. In general, the Rage is great for its extra damage and speed, and a better haste due to the higher range. Its duration makes it great as support, and is generally good with any high DPS troops. Go Wipe with Rage is still a very good strategy due to the P.E.K.K.A. Rage combo and Golem speed boost. I do kind of wish it had death damage like another version, though. Like my number 1 favorite troop, the Healers, it just works in every strategy no matter what. You are always going to need the Rage. And for the Clan Capital spells, mainly because this vid is a bit short, I don't have this much to say, as the Clan Capital is kind of simple and fast overall. I don't have a video idea planned for this, but I should probably make an expanded version of the original, because there's only 10 troops and 6 spells, so yeah. At number 7 is the Jump spell. Why would you use this? Unlike regular Clash of Clans, there is much more wall destroyers / ignorers in the Clan Capital. You can just use Battering Ram, Hog Raiders, Minion Horde, Mound Golem, or any air troop to get rid of or pass by walls, or dig under them with the Super Miner. It only kinda works if you're using primarily Power P.E.K.K.A. or Giants, I guess. At number 6 is the Graveyard spell. Unlike the Jump spell, it spawns an endless wave of skeletons. Sure, they're skeletons, but can still be distracting to defenses, although this won't do much in the long run. Better than the regular graveyard, but not that good of a spell in comparison to the others in the clan capital. At number 5 is the Frost spell. So funny story, I've playtested every spell. Sure, usually it was just for this video, meaning I just used graveyard, Frost spell, and like jump all at once. But the thing about the Frost spell is that I could not tell if it did anything. The spell is probably fine like the others, but I genuinely cannot see any effect when using it. At least the other spells are reliable in some way. Why isn't this just like freeze but for longer or something? Next up at number 4 is the lightning. While every spell has been improved in some way, such as lasting for a couple of rounds or having a higher range, I don't think there's any changes in this thing. It deals very minor damage, but can be helpful against the Giga Inferno Towers. I think that's what they're called. But usually only if you're using a tanky troop, like the Power P.E.K.K.A. or the Mountain Golem. Not bad per se, but not really that good Next up is the heal. The heal is fine. It feels slow, but is effective overall. Good with low HP troops, as others won't see much of a difference. So best for Super Giants or Super Barbarians. It isn't much of a super version, though. More like the original, but lasts for more rounds. Next up at number 2 is the Rage. The Rage is helpful. Every troop deals a lot of damage, so its DPS increase isn't very noticeable, but it is generally a good choice to use for its very long duration and speed up. The best spell to use against enemies, but not really for defenses due to their tankiness. You probably guessed it based on the order of elimination, based on memorization. And as a nation, number 1 is the Haste spell, or the Endless Haste spell. Haste is slightly more helpful than Rage. Both are good for the speed up if you're using a slow troop, such as Power P.E.K.K.A., Super Giants, Mountain Golem, or the flying ship thing. Plus, it has better range than Rage, which is the opposite of its original version. Definitely probably the best spell, but honestly, you could use any and do pretty well. These aren't, like, too big of differences in their spell quality or something. And that's it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'm not positive, but my next video will most likely be on Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. So, see ya. Why are you still here? The video's over. Alright, fine. If you want a small teaser for the next vid, Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 got its teaser and cinematic trailer. So this game's gonna be very rushed like the others, which means it'll probably come out in January. But, yeah, I'm just gonna make a small prediction video on it. Maybe not that small, it's gonna be kind of just probably the most descriptive, but hopefully I'm kind of right, at least a little bit. See ya again. Good day to you, and I hope you enjoy stalking people, because it seems like you really like doing that. Get off the video!